I think there's a part of me that fears that I might have to go through another operation again if I don't learn the lessons. I might have another injury again and have to go through very expensive therapy sessions. I don't want to go through those anymore. I became a freelancer at that time, February 2014. And someone told me that the tendency for freelancers after they've been working in a newsroom or in a high-stress environment for years is that you become a couch potato, and I became one. I would go to the 6:30 class every day, which meant waking up at 5:45, which meant I had to sleep at 11 o'clock. So it gave me the discipline. It gave me the rhythm, daily rhythm, so I wouldn't be a couch potato. And I did it for a month. It was hard. It was painful. I was sore all over for a month. But what really matters is the everyday. And waking up very early in the morning every day, making sure that the first thing I do in the morning is to put up my workout clothes and go to the studio was really, it's the one that changed my life. It gave me a reason to wake up. It reinvigorated my zest for life. It was a trigger for something greater afterward. I didn't know it by then. I think in doing yoga and doing an activity that involves mindfulness and physical activity, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know where you're going. Just the act of going to the studio, walking to the studio, being around people who also have the same energy and drive to improve themselves really helps me. And it really helped because at the time I couldn't touch my toes. I could only touch up to my knees when we do forward hook folds. It was so frustrating, but I was just focusing on myself. And I think the daily practice, it really ingrained in me that, you have to be present. It's progress, not perfection. It was at the time when media was transforming into multimedia, into something different. Online news was the norm. It was very competitive and it's very stressful. It came to a point where I'd have pain attacks that lasted from 2 hours a day to 9 hours a day. So I was taking sleeping pills because the pain relievers were not working anymore. I was crazy. I was just so focused on my work and making sure that my numbers were high. My world revolved around my work. So God slapped me and said, tama na. So I had to go through an operation. They had to take a cyst out of my ovaries. It had been leaking, and whenever it would twist, it was very painful. I'd go to the ERs. I'd take painkillers, lots of painkillers, or I think the last straw was taking sleeping pills already. It was vegetable. It wasn't healthy. And then I had my operation. Then I got back to what I was doing before. The pain came back after 3 weeks, and my doctor said, you've already worked on your diet, you've already worked on this and this and that, but if you keep going back to that same stressful environment, the cysts will come back, the pain will come back. You will just go through this over and over again. But my sister gave me a free pass, a monthly pass to a yoga studio, and I took it to heart because in my mind, I'll do whatever I can do, which is to control my hormones. So I was thinking that if I'm not stressful, if I'm calm, I'm controlling my estrogen, those hormones. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm doing yoga to control what I can control. Then I became obsessive about it. I'm competitive by nature. I think I moved from the newsroom to my yoga class to my hormone efforts, balancing efforts. It was crazy. I was posting on social media, and I'm able to do poses that gets a lot of attention. I liked the attention. I liked how I'm able to reach my toes already. I liked everything. And then I got those injury. I had a shoulder injury. I had the Quervain's tendonitis. And then for a month, I couldn't practice yoga. So it's like I was so frustrated because I've already gained the strength, the flexibility at the time, and then boom, I couldn't practice. I bought a lot of yoga pants, workout clothes, just because I couldn't go to yoga, thinking that, if I can't go to the studio, I might as well stack up my cabinet with stuff. I was really crazy. I was just doing stuff that didn't make sense. I mean, as of now. But then, someone again sat me down. Two people actually sat me down and said, perhaps this is a season of your life where you really need to pause and consider other things, because you may be doing yoga for the wrong reasons. Or you're doing yoga, but at the back of your mind, it's not the right, you're not there. That again gave me the time to refocus, to rethink, and then refocus. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? It's like those moments are coming out at a time when I'm not listening to my body, not listening to my mind, to everything. I'm listening to those that I see on social media or on other people who see me practicing yoga. I realize that the body is very intelligent, so wise. It knows how to call your attention. My life philosophy is to be the best in whatever I'm destined to do and to be, and to make the most of the gifts that I have, which is in storytelling. It's hard to do that. It's good to hear, it's dramatic, it's to others, it's a fabulous life. It's not. The daily grind is really difficult. So doing that for the past 20 years, being in journalism, plus being competitive as well, it brought me to different stages where I found myself sick or injured. And in fact, before I went to my first yoga class, a former mentor warned me, sat me down, told me, I know you're competitive, but once you're on the mat, make sure that you don't look at the other people, because they're on your year 5. They're year 5. You're on your day 1. So don't compare your body versus theirs, because you're in a different plane. Eventually, it took a long time. I'm already on year 5. One thing I learned about people is that their own issues are a product of the childhood that they have, the friends that they have, the influences that they have. If that involves, coming up with a stereotype of what you have to be, how flexible you are before you hit the mat or join a class, then that's his issue or her issue. If the other person, it's about the economics of it, then that's it. The others may have a whole slew of reasons and excuses, but I hope they don't have to go through an operation. They don't have to go through an injury, because I've been there. I cannot preach. I can only tell the stories. I can only write what happened to me. I can only share on social media. But how they catch it and how they are moved by it, I hope they get moved by it. It's their call. It's their decision. It's easier to share yoga to kids than to adults. It's easier to convince them. I shared yoga to my 10-year-old niece. She started doing kids yoga at Urban Ashram when she was 8. And I've seen her grow from someone who's very shy to someone who can now do handstand. Just for the 2 years that she's been doing it, I've seen how much it impacts a little kid, because I'm really so proud of what yoga can do to a kid, vis-a-vis what yoga has done to me, to an older tita. When in fact, adults can really benefit from yoga more. I did yoga when I was already in my 40s. And look how much it has benefited me. I think, in my mind at least, yoga can really help those who are young, not so flexible, old, those who need to come down. Yoga, you need it in different seasons of your life. I go to yoga class when I need my creative juices to flow. Book writing is very consuming. It's different from the daily grind in the newsroom, where I'm surrounded by people. Book writing is very lonely because I'm alone. And it's like I'm in my cave. I call my writing space my cave, because I'm just so spent in the words that I'm writing, in the stories that I'm doing, of the book that I'm doing now on family conglomerates in the Philippines. When after an hour or an hour and a half of practice, I really feel somehow something opens up and I have new ideas. I have new energy to sit down again and go back to my cave and do it all over again. I know already. I know in my heart, I know in my mind, my body knows that I do yoga because I will enjoy it. I do yoga to know myself, my body better. I do yoga because it's a sacred space where I can be grateful of the gifts that I have. I'm not pushing and pushing and pushing myself anymore to be great, to be this, to be that. It's just a celebration of who I am now, what I have become, what I can be.